Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? And welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show. I am your host, Dr. Will, and I am here with Donna Luetjen from Lift Up Fifth Fitness. We will be talking about common core abs. Did you get that, people? So basically, this will be all about having a healthy lifestyle for the educator out there. So, good morning, Donna. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
Thanks for asking. All this awesome. School is winding down, so I'm feeling happy about that. Need that break. Uh,
Absolutely.
Now, for those who are watching the show, and would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Donna Luetjen, and I am a personal trainer, and I'm also a teacher. So my story is that I was first a personal trainer, and I started in 1995, and I became a teacher, middle school social studies teacher, and I started teaching in 2001. And so I've always kept my fitness world a part of me, even as I was a teacher. And I find it exciting as it does change all the time, as exercise and nutrition is a science, and there's always more and more research being done. So just like in the field of education, you got to stay on your toes with all that stuff, and you got to keep reading and keep learning. And so to me, teaching, educating is super, super rewarding, and helping people to be healthy as well is super rewarding. So I'm both. I'm both a teacher and a fitness coach.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for being a guest on
You're
the
welcome.
show. So let's get to it. As educators, we deal with students, parents, administrators, and all of the emotions that those relationships can bring. Throw in our family and friends, and it seems like we don't have time for ourselves. What inspired you to live a life dedicated to healthy living?
Oh my God, that's such a good question. I started young when I was in college with, the freshman 15, they say, where you start gaining weight and you realize, okay, I gotta get fit here. I gotta build some kind of lifestyle. And that's where it started for me, and I fell in love with it. But as you become older, and when I became a teacher and then a parent on top of that, a mom, it changed drastically, because the way you think about it and building a healthy lifestyle and the reasons why you do it changes. So when I was young, I was doing it for more aesthetic purposes, right? Just to be fit, to be healthy, but also to look good, right? And now, as a teacher, as a leader, as a role model, as a mother to a daughter, I think of it as a lifestyle that's a necessity, that it's not something you do for a desired outside goal, but it's something you do to live your life and live your life to the fullest. And I think to look at it, I like to compare it to like a career athlete. So a career athlete's objective is optimum performance, regardless of what they do athletically on the field. They're looking for optimum performance. And what do they do to do that? They train their bodies to perform. They fuel their bodies with proper nutrition, and they rest and recover properly. And all that stuff is built in, and there's no one that's more important than the other. And of course, they have access to coaches and massage therapists and physical therapists, and nutritionists. With our lives, I think we're just like athletes. Our objective is to have optimum performance. And as teachers, we're role models and leaders, just like athletes are. And if you have goals for living your life to the fullest, you need to incorporate those same performance strategies that athletes incorporate, which means, how are you going to train your body? You may not train like an athlete 7 days a week, but you're going to have to move your body to keep it healthy, to keep it strong so it performs for you. And you're also going to have to fuel it with proper nutrition, and you're also going to have to rest it, recover, rest, whether that means meditation, getting to sleep at night, those things that we don't think of ourselves that way. We serve others, we put others before ourselves, and we run ourselves ragged, but we really need to kind of think a little bit more like athletes, I think, and treat ourselves that way.
Hmm. So, people throw around the term diet and the need uh, to lose weight when we're really talking about a change in lifestyle. Would you, for a moment, talk about the practice of healthy living, needing to be a lifestyle, and how do you plan and work in exercise into your schedule?
I think that that when someone wants to go on a diet, that's such a great word that you brought that into diet versus healthy lifestyle, because they're very different, right? A diet is usually a desired outcome, a desired goal. Someone goes on a diet, they have a specific goal in mind, they do a specific diet, and then it doesn't necessarily always translate into a lifestyle, which is why it doesn't stick. And so they find themselves running from diet to diet or program to program, because and not to it's not their fault. This is the industry of fitness and diet. The diet industry wants to keep you dependent on looking for the next diet. And when they set you up on a diet, whether it's a diet program or a fitness program that's for weight loss, they don't always set you up with the factors that you need to make it a lifestyle. So what do you do when it's over? How do you transition? And why isn't it working for you? Why hasn't it become a lifestyle? Why is it something that you did and then you stopped doing? And I think the reason for that is, when you think of it as a lifestyle and not a diet, you have to think of it long term, obviously, but it has to incorporate things that make it easy for you to create the lifestyle. So what I call that is, for me, when I'm coaching people on this topic, I say, you have to have 3 E's. 3 E's, which means whatever you're doing, whether it's the way you eat or the way you work out, you have to make sure that it's efficient. That's the first E, because if you can't fit it into your lifestyle, if you're planning on doing something that's going to be, I got to do an hour and a half at the gym 4 or 5 times a week in order to look this way, and you're a busy person, you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're never going to be able to do that. It's not efficient. It's not going to fit into your lifestyle, and it doesn't necessarily need to be as long as some people think it needs to take, as far as what you need to do to exercise and get results. So you have to find something that's efficient, it fits into your lifestyle. Then it becomes part of your lifestyle. The second E is that it has to be effective. So if you're doing something and you fit it into your lifestyle and you're doing it, but it's not effective, it's not working, it's not bringing you results, then you're not going to keep doing it. Who would, right? That's crazy. You're not going to do something that's not providing results. So I think that making sure you find something that fits into your lifestyle, it's efficient, but it's also effective, is going to keep you doing it for the long haul, and you're going to keep sustaining on whatever that is, that it becomes part of your lifestyle. And then, of course, the third E is that it has to be enjoyable somewhat. I mean, if you're doing something and you're hating it, you're not going to sustain. You're not going to do it over the long haul, and it's not going to become a lifestyle. So the trick is helping somebody or someone finding for themselves a way to efficiently fit in not just the exercise, but also the nutritional component on how you eat and how you plan what you're going to eat day to day, week to week, how you shop for those foods and prepare those foods. It's got to be something that's efficient. You got to be able to do it. It's got to work for you, and you got to enjoy it. So it's not something that you could do overnight. This is something that you do week to week, month to month. You make small changes, and you find things that work for you and that you enjoy doing, and then it becomes a lifestyle.
I like that. So my job takes me all around the district. That, along with removing certain foods from my diet. I love cake. I love ice cream. I lost 30 pounds last year.
Wow, that's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you. Working on it. I'm working on it. But again, ice cream is like that ex-girlfriend you call up every now and then. I so miss it. What things can teachers do to put more movement into their days at school?
I've heard from so many teachers so many great ideas that they have come up with that I was blown away and I never even thought of. So teachers are such creative people. So like you said, you get to walk around the school in your position, and other people who, I know there's one girl who mentioned that instead of sending an email, if she can go walk to the person and talk to them face to face, then not only is she getting extra movement in her day and getting up from that seated position, if that's where you find yourself seated way too much and you need to stand up and walk around more, then she found that was an effective way for her to not only get more movement, but she also gets face-to-face contact with her teachers. Teachers who are stuck in a classroom, I've heard, have actually brought in those exercise balls, those big balls, and they use those to alternate when they're seated in a chair. versus sitting on the exercise ball, because it actually incorporates certain postural balances that you have to do to stay seated on that ball, and it incorporates your core, and it's better than sitting in a chair. And just walking around and moving around the classroom. Some teachers are on their feet more than they're on their seat, right? So then their feet actually need a rest, or they need to circulate their bodies in different ways. So there's a lot of creative things you can do. Some schools are so great that they allow their teachers during their lunch break to go walking around the school, or to walk outside when the weather permits. Getting a buddy, if you have a lunch break time with a buddy, or even if you have lunch recess duty outside with the kids, you could just move around with the kids and walk and talk instead of standing in one place. Walk and circulate that field, talk to the kids. If kids like to come up to you, I know for me, when I was teaching, kids love to come up and talk during recess duty. I would say to them, let's walk while we talk. We'll walk around the field and talk. So there's some ways that you can get movement in there for sure, I think. Get creative.
So let's talk about what we eat in terms of what we should be eating to be at our optimum health. Please separate the truth from the myth. What foods should we be consuming? Is there a place for cake?
Yes, I do believe there's a place for cake. You know why? Because remember that enjoyable thing? If there's no enjoyment in your diet, you're not going to stick to it. And you're actually going to rebound and go off the deep end, right? You're going to be so restrictive with not allowing yourself access to those foods that you truly love and enjoy, that one day you can only hold that willpower for so long, and you're going to let go of that willpower, and you're going to end up eating, maybe even overeating, on those foods that you've told yourself are not allowable or are not good for you. So I call it the 80-20 rule, whereas 80% of your diet is really just about nutrition and fuel and proper eating for the value of the vitamins and the minerals and the phytonutrients that you get from the foods. And that 80% should be, if you can, as often as possible, raw, because when we cook the food, it does lose some of that nutritional value. And organic, if you can afford it. Certain foods especially, because we don't want any more toxins going into our body, because then the pesticides, our body has to actually to fight that off. And we want to fuel our body and not tax it or stress it, right? So certain things in our environment are stressing us out all the time. Besides stress, mental stress or physical stress, there's environmental stress. And so we have free radicals attacking our cells all the time. And we know that we need to eat certain foods to fuel those cells, to have those cells be able to fight back and repair themselves against the attack of the free radicals and the stress, the oxidative stress, right? So 80% of your foods, if you can, to be clean, whole foods that are in the perimeter of the grocery store, right? So the fruits and vegetables and the grains that are one ingredient, like rice is one ingredient, right? It's a grain, it's a natural food. As much of that as possible, 80%. And then that 20%, that's your enjoyment factor. That's where you eat a food because you like it. You grew up on it. It's nurturing. It soothes your soul. You're never going to deprogram that out of your brain. You know, if there was a comfort food you had all your life, there's no way you're ever going to not love that comfort food. So 20% of your diet, you build it in, you know, these little parts where you're like, this is just for enjoyment. This is just because I love it and it's going to make me feel good. And then 80%, this is because it's going to make me perform. This is going to make me repair. This is going to make me, you know, fight stress and age well and have good energy. That's what I like to see people doing. And again, it's something you have to create. You know, you can't have someone prescribe you a diet. This is what you need to eat. It has to be something that you like and that you build and you choose. And I think that cake can be part of that for sure, and ice cream.
Awesome. Now I want to throw a question out there to you, because you just sort of mentioned no one can say this. 5 years ago, I went to the doctor for my, yearly male exam. I'm reaching that age. He did the blood pressure. He was like, "Hey, I'm very concerned about this, Will. I need to refer you." So I go to a doctor, and he says, "Okay, I need you to take these blood pressure medicines,
Mhm.
and he never said to me, "We need to work on how you eat. We need to work on exercise." He just said, "Take this pill."
Mhm.
And he never, and by the way, he never even told me that this diuretic could not only hurt my kidneys, but give me cramps that,
Like cramps, yeah.
yeah, that were just like, oh my gosh, what is going on here?
Wake you up in the middle of the night, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, I really got to it and changed, how I was eating, incorporated, uh, took a bunch of processed stuff out,
Mm.
uh, and lowered the blood pressure, and got off the medication.
Mm.
But why you work in fitness? Why does the medical field not, even though they have to know, but why do they not make that connection as opposed to saying, here's this pill? Why not just say, I need you to take this for a few months because we need to bring this down, but you really got to really change your lifestyle. I need you to be doing these things because if not, you'll be on this medication forever, and this is not the best thing for you.
Yeah, I've had the same experience that you've had with my doctor, and I totally agree with you that doctors many doctors, not all doctors, are very quick to just prescribe a pill. And when I asked my doctor that same thing, I told him about, hey, why don't you ever refer people to me? I can help them. I can coach them and get them healthier if they need weight loss or just better nutrition. And he said to me, if you could have success, if you could show me 5 people that you've helped that have stayed within their healthy range for more than a year, then I'll, refer to you. But basically, people have a hard time, and he was basically saying to me, without you living with people, it's so hard for them to change, and a doctor can only do so much, and there is only so much as far as what insurance will provide. And insurance wants quick results and they want to make money. So of course they want to provide a pill. And we all know that changing your lifestyle takes a long time. And it's not something that happens overnight. And it takes a lot on the person to be committed to do it, but people need coaches, people need help as far as education, nutrition, and doctors don't have that time, and insurance companies don't want to pay for it. If people don't pay out of pocket, basically by going to naturopathic doctors, who it's very expensive, people will try to change and make those changes, but it's really hard to stick without that support. And the medical community right now isn't giving that support yet, but there are programs that are trying. The government is trying to put money into programs where there's ongoing support. There are diabetes prevention programs that the government are sponsoring where people can actually go for free and they get a year of support. They get once a week, they get a class once a week for an hour for 6 months, and then with a coach, and then it's a lifestyle coach. And then after the 6 months, it's once a month, and then they get ongoing access to the coach. So that's an example of we're seeing it change, thank God. And I think more of that is coming. I think there are more doctors that are getting educated because of in lifestyle change, nutrition as medicine versus as prevention, actually. And many doctors aren't versed in nutrition and fitness. They take maybe one course in nutrition and then they specialize after that. And so they're not really equipped to deal with lifestyle change through nutrition and exercise. And so we're behind in this, especially in European countries, in many ways, as far as educating and keeping our population healthy in preventative versus treating the sick. And so we are still at that point where it's our responsibility to take it upon ourselves to get educated and to pay out of pocket, unfortunately, for things like nutritionists or coaches or homeopathic functional medicine doctors who really do know how to heal the body through nutrition and movement versus popping a pill. So I hope that, we're on the road to changing that, to that changing. And I think we are. So thank gosh for the internet, and we have everything at our fingertips to equip ourselves. But relying on our doctors and maybe having to switch doctors and finding a doctor that's a little bit leans more towards natural, preventative stuff before they're ready to just keep you, on a pill.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had to, take it into my hands because I didn't want to definitely didn't want to deal with those cramps anymore. And I didn't
Yeah.
want to be on the pill. So I knew that I had to make certain changes. And once I went and the blood pressure dropped 40 points and I was within that normal range, I was like, I'm done.
Good
And,
for you.
well, thanks. But I still got to, get back on. I slipped a little bit, but I'm going to work on it. My wife gets on me all the time.
Mhm.
So what is the most important lesson you've learned about making health and wellness a priority in your life?
I think starting real small. A lot of times I would try to do too much at once. I would want the results really fast, and I'd want to go hardcore, thinking if I go hardcore, I'm going to get the results fast. And, I could do this. I just need the willpower, and I need the strength to do it. And it never ended up sticking. Like I said, it was never sustainable. It was never for long-term results. And there's always that rebound effect. And I got sick and tired of that. So starting small is with one thing at a time is huge. Like making these small weekly challenges for yourself. This week, I'm going to drink water every single day, and I'm going to take, this container of water with me, and I'm going to make sure I drink 3 of these every single day. And setting a goal is just that. That's it. I'm just going to focus on water. And until I can master that, I'm not going to put anything else on my plate, because these are big rocks. Like, these are huge things, drinking a lot of water, getting enough sleep. And these are things that are pretty easy. But if we don't really go out of our way to understand how important they are and how much they can give back to us if we're very well hydrated and also well rested, that helps us to make better food choices. That helps us to manage our stress better. And we don't realize it sometimes because we're just so busy. And so starting with something small and mastering that, drinking enough water, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing. What's the next thing? I'm going to make sure I get enough sleep. What's enough sleep? Some people, 6 hours is enough for them, and they feel really good. Some people need 8, and they don't get 8 because it's hard. They got work. They got to do things at night. But making it a priority. Okay, my next goal is to get 8 hours of sleep each night this week, and keep doing that and seeing how I feel, and then watching how that translates into other areas. And when you start small, you can then accomplish and feel that, wow, I'm able to do this. I can really do this. What's next? What's next? And the accountability factor too is big. So when people do these challenges where they have someone hold them accountable, that's also a huge part of success. So if you say, I'm going to drink water, for this week, you need somebody to actually help you a little bit to be accountable. So you reach out to a friend and you say, can you text me every single day this week and ask me if I drank my water, just so I know that somebody's watching? Or go on your Facebook page and say, hey guys, I'm going to drink water this week. Does anybody want to do this with me? And do you want to check in with me and see at the end of the week and say, hey, did you drink your water? Because that accountability piece is huge in challenges and making us accomplish those challenges. So I think those are 2 big things. Start small, do something, and until you master it, keep at it. Try something else. If you can't master that, it's not working, you can try something else. Try accountability, do it with somebody, a partner, and then see where you can go from there, because there are such little things like drinking more water, getting better sleep, consuming less sugar, consuming less caffeine, that are huge. And the American lifestyle and the way we live as busy people, parents, moms, teachers, we kind of neglect these little things that are huge.
Cool. So before we go, I want to ask your advice. So for those educators who want to begin, they're ready, but don't know where to start, what should they start to do first?
Okay, so they're ready to have more energy. Are they ready to, what are they ready for? It's about what you want to accomplish.
Well,
Do
they're
you,
ready to begin living a healthier lifestyle, but they don't know, where to start. I mean, you have Dr. Oz, you have all these
mm,
magazines, you have all these people and all this information sort of uh, just inundating. It's just coming at them all at once, and then like,
yeah,
I want to do it, but I don't know where to start. How do they get there?
I would say, again, starting small with certain things that will be your non-negotiables, like getting enough water, getting enough sleep. Then meal planning and preparation. So bringing that food to school, making that lunch, just like you do when you're a parent and you're so great at being responsible for your children, right? So you pack a lunch every night for your child and you try to make sure that what's in that lunch, is it well-rounded? Are they getting enough, carbohydrates? Are they getting enough protein? Are they getting enough fruits and vegetables? You got to do that same exact thing for yourself. So while you're packing your kids' lunch at night, and if you don't have kids, then you're packing your own lunch at night, you're looking at your fuel for the day and you're saying, okay, I'm going to pack something that's going to fuel me well. It's got to be something I like, something that I enjoy, but it's going to fuel me well. Am I eating enough protein? Do you have breakfast before you leave the house? If you're not that person that likes to have breakfast, you don't have time for breakfast, or you're just not hungry until 10 a.m., that's fine. Bring something with you, and then at 10 a.m., hopefully you can consume it. Protein shakes are great because they're easy and on the go. You don't have to drink them right on the spot. You could just blend it, take it with you, drink it on the drive, or drink it at 10 a.m. when you start to get hungry. But managing your energy levels so that you don't have those crashes throughout the day, and front loading your day, which means eating breakfast and eating lunch, something healthy, will actually bring you into dinner time and nighttime eating better. With a better front load to your day, you're more likely to make better choices at night and not eat as much at night because you're not trying to make up for the energy that you expended during the day and you weren't fueled. So planning your food, shopping for the healthy foods, and trying to prepare them over the weekend. That's something I always did, was getting some stuff ready over the weekend. So it was just there in my refrigerator, grilling some chicken, making a huge, huge salad so I could just portion that out at night, cutting up vegetables, cutting up fruits, some yogurt, and making sure it was all there by Sunday night so that I could easily each day throw something together really quick, and it's there, and I know it's there. Cooking healthy meals and cooking in excess at night. Maybe if you're making a healthy meatloaf at night, make it a bigger portion so that you have more left over, so that you could freeze it. So maybe you only have to make meatloaf twice a month instead of 4 times a month. For me, I use meatloaf as an example because we usually have it almost once a week. So I'll make double the amount. So I'll cook the meatloaf this week, then I'll have the frozen leftover the following week, and now on the third week I got to cook it again, but then I'm going to have frozen leftover on the following week. So really I'm only cooking meatloaf twice a month, but I'm having it 4 times a month each week. You know what I'm saying? These are like little strategies that are about managing your time, and it's a little bit time consuming, but they really pay off. And getting more of the whole foods and the foods that are prepared at home, where you know what went in that food, you know that it's not processed with a bunch of sodium and chemicals and preservatives, versus being unprepared. And then what are you going to do? You're starving. You're going to reach for that vending machine, or you're going to reach for that fast food, something on the go that's quick and not as nutrient dense. So I think those are the biggest things for teachers that are really going to pay off in the long haul. And then even just 15 minutes a day of walking, if that's all you have the time for. If you are so busy that you cannot get to a gym, or you can work out at home, or you feel like you don't even have a half hour, even just going 15 minutes of something does really work. People think, if I don't do at least a half hour, 45 minutes, it's not even worth it. It's not going to make a dent, but that's not true. It really does. And it's actually more about frequency than duration. They've done studies on this. Someone who does just 10 minutes a day of exercise, but does that 5, 6, 7 days a week, actually gets better results than someone that does an hour of exercise 3 times a week. So frequency definitely trumps duration.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again, Donna, for being on the show.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. We need to get you back.
I'd love to.
Awesome. This was great information. So people, as you know, this is going to be on my blog. It's going to be on YouTube. This will be on my SoundCloud channel as well. So as always, people, be you, edu, peace.